So we are in a fight that we should have been expecting all along. In fact, I don't find this even the least bit surprising. The ferocity, the nastiness, it's just the tactics and the timing that perhaps has caught some of us off guard. What really are the Democrats trying to accomplish right now? And let's understand, this is a Democrat movement. This is not something that we should just generally refer to as protesters. We should not allow this to be somehow taken off the ledger of American politics that would go under the Democrat side. What's happening right now is a Democrat cultural and political revolution. And that's why they're adopting the very tactics of revolutionaries past. In fact, much of the same rhetoric. And some of this has been a repetition of what we've seen. I've been mentioning this to you for weeks now. The Occupy Wall Street movement, the first Black Lives Matter movement, the Antifa in the early months of the Trump presidency. They've recycled a lot of what we've seen before, but the additional reasons for their power and their rise right now are we are going through a pandemic that has empowered government beyond what would have been our wildest dreams even 6 months ago. Right? Nobody could have thought, or perhaps we should have, but nobody did think that we would go through so much tyranny with barely a peep from the general public, it seems, about what's happening, about the seizure of rights, the virtual suspension of the Constitution. People don't seem very much bothered by this at all, but there was a tremendous amount of rage that was bottled up over time. Anger and frustration and 40 million plus lost jobs and the lack of human contact and the misery and the lies from the government, the transparent and obvious lies that we have been forced to stomach. And then you add all of that to a period of political lunacy from the left, the anti-Trump delusion, the anti-Trump derangement syndrome that's out there. You put these things together and you have a very combustible mix, and we are dealing with the explosion right now. It's best that we understand that. It's best that we are clear about how we got to this point. And we see that we are up against a very tenacious and a very challenging enemy here. If Donald Trump has one tagline that is most associated with him, it is, of course, the initial campaign slogan of 2016, Make America Great Again, which has now transitioned into Keep America Great. But I think a lot of us still have a much greater affinity for the original one. Make America Great Again. That's where the president has positioned himself right now. He told me in the Oval Office but a few weeks ago about his plan to transition us to greatness, that we were going to get back the America that we had become used to for 3 years with Donald Trump as president. But now we see the Democrats have taken up the opposite side of that bargain, and they have no shame about it. The Democrats have decided that the inducement of misery, that widespread dissatisfaction, despair, rage, division on cultural, class, race, ethnic lines, whatever they can do to exacerbate any sore points in the American polity, whatever they can do to make us hate each other, mad at each other, and just feel like things are going poorly. That's what they're going to do. None of the proposals that Democrats are talking about right now, you'll notice that none of the things that are of interest to rational, reasonable people as ways to really bring about a better country, that's not what they're focused on. The Democrats don't care about that. They're not trying to fix all of these problems. They're proposing things that are even more divisive. They want further lockdowns because of COVID. They want more statue toppling. They want less police, more defund police, and a greater leeway for criminals on the streets to terrorize law-abiding people of all races, backgrounds, creeds, and colors. That's the position of the Democrat Party right now, because they understand that they can't inspire. There's nothing inspirational about their Marxism, their leftism, their revolutionary rhetoric, which is so empty when you push on it a bit. What do they really want? Who are we going to replace with all these statues? Are we just going to have Jimmy Carter and Barack Obama and Bill Clinton statues? Well, Bill Clinton might be a bit too Me Too'd. But who's going to be acceptable to celebrate in the public sphere when they're done? We'll talk more today about who the latest cancellation figures are, who they're going after, the explosion of this movement and the expansion of the targets just keeps going with every day. But remember this, the Democrats do not present you with ideas to make you happier and freer. They present you, if you are a Trump supporter, if you are a moderate, if you are not a part of the left-wing base of the Democrat party, they present you with a poorer, less free, less happy, less safe America. And they want that right now. They are actively rooting for failure. I'm not shy about this. I'm going to say it. They want this country to suffer because in their minds, that's the only way that they can force us to expunge the sin of the Trump presidency. And that is a sin for which they will not give us forgiveness. There will be penance required of us. They will demand that we suffer because we and they don't care that there are people who are going to suffer that didn't vote for Trump. Collective guilt, collective suffering. This is the order of the day for the Democrat Party. This is what they believe in. They want all of us to go through this. They want all of us to be caught up in this. And yes, there are people who are chanting for it. Yes, there are people that believe the police are the enemy and that bringing back what is really just critical race theory stretching from the 1960s and 1970s, that race is the single defining characteristic of everything in our society. More so than anything else, race influences our ideas, our politics, our culture. And that the only way to confront this is to accept that anyone who is white in America has an original sin, again, one for which they must be punished. It's not even enough to bend the knee. You have to suffer. And our communities are going to suffer. Our cities are on the decline. The American metropolis is something that will be looked upon fondly in the future as a period of history, a period of time when we could all live together with declining crime rates, with increases in household wealth, with overall prosperity, better, cleaner streets, better, cleaner services. You know, this was what we were seeing for the last 20 years. Not in some Democrat cities, but there were some major exceptions to it. Things were going pretty well. We'll look back on that and realize that this was all taken from us, and it was taken by choice. And the Democrats are willing to burn down the village in order to save it. And that's what they're doing right now. If they can't have control of America, no one can. And if they can't find a way to get control by promising better ideas and a better future, they'll just make this one so miserable that people will be desperate to vote for an empty suit and a nothing as a leader like Joe Biden. It doesn't matter. Anything but what we have right now. Bring the country to its knees and then make it vote for someone other than the person who they will claim is responsible for all of this misery. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.